Arta keeps trying to stage this to make it more beautiful. So trying to hide that a dog's butt is right in the middle of the frame. And so the backstory for this very short video is I wanted an unscripted just moment for Arta to tell how she's really feeling. But in between then and now, what won't be so visible is all the staging as Doral's running around trying to lure the dog out. I don't know why, because it's fine if she's here. And behind here is like blue blankets that actually Arta was wrapped tightly in to make her warm and cuddly, but then she refused to start the video with those on because she didn't want to have people think she looks like a little old lady, which is what she was looking like. So my question to Arta this morning was, how are you feeling? So this was day 3 with having hey, we're just recording, having the home care people come into the house. So this was the 3rd morning. I said to Arta, how's it going? She said,
well, I can hardly walk from one end of the hall to the other without being exhausted. And I have to use my walker. I can't go on my own. And I'm wondering where all that energy went. I got up and did a little bit of work on the computer, but something that should have taken me 10 minutes took me an hour and 10 minutes this morning. I'm noticing how breathless I am. Not really breathless, but I'm just exhausted. In 30 seconds, I can be exhausted. I got up, I went right out of my bed and wrapped myself in blankets and went around the fire. Going in to brush my teeth seems like a major operation. And I don't want to tell people any of this.
and I was sort of hoping she would, because our question, those are the questions. Is this the cancer in its progression, or is this just the jaundice? In which case, can we, Catherine says we'll anticipate an increase in energy once the new stent is in. So that's what we're hoping for.
And I can hardly wait for Sunday, Monday to pass and Tuesday to get into the hospital and to have that needle go in my arm. So it's just oblivion. And then I wake up with a procedure done. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. And look, I get my caregiver. He's pulling up his stool.
We always use the word stool advisedly since the research with the poop group.
So I have one other thing to say, and that's I'd like to answer a question that somebody asked me on the internet. So goodbye for now. On to the next question.
Arta just said there. So here we are. Arta.
Is this being recorded for training purposes?
There was a, if you want to, yes, this is for training purposes. Okay, this recording is for training purposes. Arta, how was the home care visit this morning?
I don't want to talk about the home care visit this morning.
See, I'm being trained.
The question is, my friend asked me, how does it feel to be giving farewells and goodbyes to my children? And so now I'm going to ask Doral that question. I'm going to ask you that question, then I'll answer.
So here's the irony. We've filmed this now 7 times. And every time you ask this question, we keep on making jokes so that you can't get an answer from us.
So that's Doral's answer. Doesn't matter how many times I ask him, he cannot be trained. So
but go ahead and so let's take 8.
Would you like to have Rebecca answer first?
Take 8. Let's start again.
Okay.
Let's just leave the first part on. We're not going to record it too much time.
Like Lorene, we can just edit out some of these parts. So here goes Doral.
Like the ending. There will be no ending. That's how the question goes for how the farewells and goodbyes are actually going. Farewells? What farewells? Goodbyes? What goodbyes?
Who's gone?
Who's gone? No one's going.
This is my mother here.
Bring me a coffee.
I'm going to start with Catherine. For Catherine, it's very hard to say goodbyes. So she starts the day before. And most of the goodbyes require a lot of tissue, a lot. we're just burning tissue after tissue. I wonder why. It's going to the past. The end, because now my eyes are filling up with tears. So now, Doral, your
Okay,
turn.
so now I have. So your question is your question about goodbyes.
It's that damn Lorraine Wright, damn you, Lorraine Wright, wants to, that we love, wants to know how the farewells and goodbyes are going and has talked about how important they are. Like that this is the actual work of this time. This is the gift of this time, as opposed to having a scenario which we were in where things could have just moved like that and those times wouldn't be available to us. This is my answer now, at the first biopsy, Arta told Dr. Barkley that she'd already done all that work for herself, that she felt like over the last years, having moved past the age at which her mother died, she's consciously said everything she wanted to say to people so that she wasn't going to leave with things unsaid. So that wasn't a worry to her. She did worry that her children would be sad. That was the question. So the farewells and goodbyes question that's interesting is to what extent this time is just for us really to do that work. But that work's not easy, and it's just easy to live in deferral and denial and displacement. That was our discussion last night. We really like Alice Kubler-Ross's work on the 7 stages of grieving, and we're very, very fond of denial. It's such a lovely place. So that's a piece of the puzzle.
And also, there's a bit of, if I don't say goodbye to you, Arta, I'm not giving you permission to die. Right? So as soon as I say goodbye to you, now I've given you permission to die.
And then I can go.
And that's very selfish of me because I don't want you to go. Right? But it's all about me. I don't want you to go. Right? So for me, it's partly that I figure if I don't say goodbye, then you can't go.
And Steve has dealt with this by getting her a 1-year subscription to the New Yorker.
Expires next March.
Expires next March.
Yeah, you can't go before March.
Can't go before March because
31st.
because what are we going to do with all those unread New Yorkers
In the
otherwise?
fiscal year, yeah.
So
For tax purposes.
Yeah, so I'm noticing this morning and telling people, I don't want to read even the New Yorker. I don't want to read any of the books that are around here. I don't want to watch any TV series that are going on. I'd like to walk, but I can only make it from here to the bedroom and not even back. I don't think I want to play any games. I just want to kind of wrap myself in a blanket and sit by the fire. But I'm hopeful that in 2 days, things will change around and then I'll have a few more good times. Saying goodbye is pretty tough. There's goodbye and then there's really goodbye. So all the other times I was going around telling everybody, you can't say anything, I get to say everything, I'm going to tell you goodbye. Then it was kind of clinical. I could just go through the list and tell them how things were going to go. But it was like being on take 10, not really being there. But now kind of the stop sign is kind of looking me in the face down the road.
And it's harder.
But, I mean, part of this is going to be how you start feeling on Thursday or Friday, right? Like as we talked about this in the first 7 takes of this, we don't know how much of this is the cancer and how much of this is the jaundice, right? So if we can go through the range of possibilities, like from 100% it's jaundice and 0% is the cancer. I mean, the cancer is there, but I'm thinking like your best day in the last 10 days, how much since that day has your change been due to the jaundice and how much is it due to the cancer, right? And I think we're all hoping, because we don't want to think about the cancer part, we're hoping that 100% is the jaundice, that you can at least get back to your best day that you've had in the last 10 days when the jaundice thing is resolved. So that's best case. And worst case, the number is bigger towards the cancer side. Right? But we won't really know until the jaundice thing is dealt with, and then we can reassess after that and see, okay, now where are you at?
So I've already said goodbye to Mary, but Mary said goodbye, I'm coming back.
Yeah, so she hasn't said goodbye.
No, so I've said goodbye to Doral, and Doral said
He's
I'll be
refused
back
to
with my
accept your,
kids.
yeah, he refuses to accept your goodbye,
Yeah,
like a bad son.
and
Catherine?
the saying goodbye. Yeah, I got to figure out what that's like. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. It's like, could this please be the final goodbye? Because if I have to say goodbye to,
One more time.
to at least the 8 ones I love
Yeah.
that I bore,
Yeah.
those, if I have to say it 3 times, that's 27 goodbyes. That's a lot of goodbyes. When
It's exhausting.
each of
It's too
them
many
just
goodbyes.
rips you apart.
We almost need a just-in-time goodbye.
I think we would have been
First
better,
in, last out.
yeah, we would have been better off if we didn't like each other, and then we wouldn't have to say goodbye,
We could start that.
which we might well come to for the final day.
So yeah, that's yeah.
Well, we hope this doesn't make it to YouTube.
What a downer.
Bye.
I wish Richard were here. This would be more fun if Richard was here. You're kind of a downer. Oh, I hope you didn't hear that. This was things heard in the hospital,
And when it's over,
said by Arta to Rebecca.
and when it's over, Richard will say, nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.